Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the one true Sir Salty here, and this is my first ever recorded speedrun. This game is called Griftlands. It's made by Clay, the same makers of Don't Starve. Unfortunately, they were bought out by Tencent, and there wasn't too much development on this game afterwards. But anyways, I'm just going to explain a couple things as this run's kind of going on, and just a little bit of a set. So Griftlands is a PvE card battler game. Just wanted to point out that I saw a pet on the map, and when you get a pet, I kind of can't help myself, so he will participate in combat with me. But anyways, Griftlands is very unique in the sense that there is two types of card battling that you do. One is a pure combat base, and the other is a conversation. Failing a conversation isn't lethal, but it does kind of suck. If you lose combat, however, you die and game over. So by playing the game, you unlock a lot of different perks. I could explain that, but my perks were generally not very optimal for doing this run. I kind of went more like with safe picks, so I have stuff that like allows me to have more implants, which is in the top left corner, and implants are more like just strong passive skills that you get in the game, and you usually get it for beating bosses or doing like big quest chains. And like I think I have like extra health upon winning a combat, so like I'm gaining health for winning, so it kind of keeps my sustain going. There's also speed options to turn on. That's why it kind of looks very frantic and fast, because these are options that help you get this achievement, and it just speeds along your progress much faster. Like dialogue is instant, combat is much like 2 or 3 times faster. It just smooths out the process. Now you may have noticed in that last combat that I killed one enemy. That was, I think, accidental, but you have the options to spare enemies. For one, that resolves the combat much faster, which I love. And secondly, this game has an enemy system. So let's say, hey, I wanted to kill this guy. Well, he's got a friend, and that now friend hates you, and then you get like a negative bonus throughout the entire game. It could be something stupid, like when you're in a conversation, you get like damaged every turn, or like you just lose perks, basically. You might draw something stupid, or you just generally have a negative. Yeah, see, now he hates me, and now things cost more. I think that's what that one was. So generally the main idea for speedrunning is trying to choose as minimal amount of options as possible. So like this is just for fun, but I get to play with my pet, and he gains some bonus damage and health. And it's very fast, so I just get through it. And you try to do just main stuff. You try to avoid anything. You leave in a hurry. You just do everything possible with options to just avoid having to do one extra thing, you either combat or getting into a conversation with somebody. And you'd rather just like, you know, pay off if you want to like bribe somebody, just say, okay, don't do this, just stop. You don't do anything extra. That's the main thing. In terms of card games, I have this one high up there with the likes of like Slay the Spire, or even one of my all-time favorites, which is Across the Obelisk, which again, great co-op card battler, which again, check it out if you're into card battlers. Woo! But yeah, like they have like 3 main characters and story modes. There's also just a brawl mode if you just want to kind of get right into it and just play, like just you kind of do similar things in story, but you just do it in more of like a linear path where it just chooses it for you, and you just kind of gives you options, like more like randomly generated options, like more like a roguelike in that sense. And you do a mix of battles, conversations, and whatnot. And they've been like weekly challenges for some stuff. Usually not too many great unlockables, like you get most of that stuff from just playing the game, but it's still very fun. I would come back to it again, and based on, you know, watching this speedrun and showing you guys it, I would want to do this speedrun a little more efficiently. Because I will tell you right now, I did this because there is an achievement for beating the game within 30 minutes. One of the characters is pretty hard to do, Rook. He's more like a gunslinger type deal. His story tends to drag out a little bit longer, which is kind of painful. So it's like really hard to get that achievement for doing it, and I really want to 100% this game. So Sal's story, which is her over there, that's my character, yeah. Her story is very, very fluid, very fast, and very simple to do. I specifically chose to choose his side, because you get to make 2 choices at the bar. I choose his side because it's very easy, because he gives you these weapons, cacklers. These are specifically to damage this enemy and to weaken them very fast. And you do tons of damage, so like I was able to multiply the damage by 2. and did 20, like almost 20 damage to him, and got the fight over with very quickly. You will see throughout the run in general that I'm quickly choosing a lot of things. A lot of the cards are just really strong for the combats that I choose. Like I just choose generally pretty strong cards, like they either apply wound or bleeds. I kind of do a little bit of combo with, I think the card is combination, and I do get a blade flurry. That's a very strong build up. And you combination with Sal's dagger, where you can either choose to bleed or gain combo, and it just makes for a strong deck. With this boss, it's pretty much optimal just to kill his turrets, because when you kill his turrets, it does damage to him, and turrets also deal damage to you, so why not just do both at the same time? And unfortunately, they killed my doggo best friend that I spent so much good time with training and everything, and I miss him already. But I digress. Like that's just kind of how she goes. The dog did take a lot of good damage for me, and I'm very grateful to him. Her? I don't know. I can't remember. This is a long, like maybe something I recorded like a while ago, like maybe about a year or two. It was on my other computer as well. So from playing this game since like when it first came out, like early access, they've added a lot of new things. Like they have basically an infinite leveling up system, which is pretty cool. Like you just gain these points that you can spend at like this cave once you start the game, and you can always go back to this cave to just level up like a bunch of just passive damage and stuff like that. But they also can have this ultimate ability, which is very strong. Boss grafts are usually pretty strong, and I choose a really powerful negotiation one, which makes green cards kind of suck, but I gain extra actions in that turn, so I tend to just switch my deck over to all red cards, which are aggressive. I can't remember what they're called. But anyways, I choose more all my red cards because now the green cards are doing half their value, so it just makes sense to kind of lean into it. I also choose Nadan's side because you get to choose either him or you choose with the police force in the area. And who wants to side with the cops? Like, let's be honest. I might be saying that because I'm a little salty. Yeah, no name drop intended, but I did just get a traffic cam or a speed camera caught me doing 10 over, which I find pretty ridiculous. 10 over in a 50 zone should not be worth being ticketed for. Like, come on, like this, and $80. That you know, that kind of sucks. It's kind of a dick move, and especially in this economy. Like, fuck. Anyways, but yeah, you're seeing that all my green cards are now worth garbage, but that's okay because it doesn't matter when you lean into red. They're better off dead. Yep, that's a saying. I'm coining it right now. Also, I did end up getting a bounty card, which is very strong for conversations. Basically, it sets it up where if you do damage to the bounty, you just straight up like do X amount of damage for that bounty, and it ends up being strong. It's really hard to talk about all these things mid speedrun, but you know, I figured I'd give you guys a little insight on the game because it's pretty fun. You might notice that there's little ticks on cards which indicate how many times you played them, and once the bars have filled up, you will be able to upgrade your card. In most cases, like with basic cards, I either tend to have them do destroy when used if they're not something I would like. If you can upgrade it that way, where they do a bunch more damage, but then you'll destroy the card getting rid of it or expending it. Like if you want to use it in combat, but you also don't want to keep it around for the combat or the conversation, then those are like my usually go-to paths, where if there's any good cards that I have, I try to upgrade the other way, where it's like maybe adds like a bleed or adds combo or something else that's a little more beneficial to me. And generally throughout the day, because you basically do like a day cycle, so you go out, do like main story missions, and then you come back to the tavern and rest. Throughout the day, you kind of have you have your health as a resource, and then you have your resolve as another resource. Resolve is your health in conversations, and obviously your health in combat is your health in combat. So throughout the day, it's good to mix up what you're doing so you're not focusing too hard in one way and kind of depleting your health or your resource in that. So definitely throw in some conversations, throw in some combat. You're going to be using them both anyways, and that's how you get better cards for each too. So like you do combat, you get better combat cards. You do conversations, you have better conversation cards. And you want to do both anyways because you generally do mix and match all the time, and you don't want one deck to be stronger than the other. Unless, like, it does work out, it does work fine, but just for a good balanced run, it just should generally be mixed up. So yeah, I didn't think I could really talk too much all the way through it, but I think I'm doing all right. You know, I'm trying my best. I have really no dialogue in the original footage. Like, I have some, it's not a lot, but I have some to go on, but it's just generally not a lot of me talking to myself. I wasn't as good with my recordings as I am now. Well, at least, you know, I think I'm getting better. Give me a comment down below if you think I'm getting better. I know I didn't really want this to be a full video, but like the run is longer. And honestly, like, after looking up some of the speed runs yesterday, I could definitely shave some time off my attempt. The guy was really good, who I saw, you know, who's in first place in the world. Kudos to him. I don't remember what his name is, but he did a really good job. And he's doing Sal's story too, so I definitely want to try some. I definitely feel like this guy, he's questionable if I do the conversation and fight him. If you strictly go into it, the more he has these two, as you see, these Reaper things that you attack, if you destroy them, it reduces his effectiveness in combat, and like, he can just do absurd damage. Like, he bleeds the crap out of you. He does all kinds of damage to you if you don't like do this conversation beforehand. But I could have maybe handled him. I just didn't want to take the chance. I don't like having a boss end my run, obviously. Like, I'd rather have the safe run. And again, I'm doing this for an achievement. Like, I'm not trying to be the world's best or whatever. But, you know, I definitely want to be at least better than one person on that speedrun record. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I decided to destroy the last Reaper and then just try to finish him off, because there's no point of prolonging this. And the longer conversations go, you see that that dial that he has basically adds damage to him permanently. So it will keep stacking up, and that will keep adding damage to anything he does to me. And so eventually you just can't beat it. You cannot keep up with it. So generally you just, if things are going a little slower for you, just try to finish the conversation, because at least then you win and you get something out of it. Because if you just lose, then it would meant the whole thing means nothing. And see, all that work, we give him an existential crisis, so kudos. Alright, so this is where my ultimate comes in. I tend to lean towards using the bleed one more. Bleed will do X amount of bleed damage at the end of turn, then reduce by half. But so that means I apply 20 bleed to him, then it goes to 10, then it goes to 5. That's a lot of damage throughout 2 or 3 turns. Much more than I could usually pump out with just one ultimate use. And it's very fast to charge it up again. And I decided to kill this boss because I know that he drops a green weapon. And I tend to pick up a lot of green weapons in my run, as you might see. His is one of these weapons that actually don't cost anything, but you can't use them. But instead, you gain an ability for that turn when you have this card in your hand that all your attacks bleed, which is really, really strong. But yeah, I was generally playing it safe. And so far so good. I just need to get through one more day and rest, and then I should be at the boss. And it's all about like just kind of choosing something quickly, going at it. And anytime I actually see this, you'll find mercs. You'll see, like, you'll be able to go to this location and get a merc. And generally I have a lot of the money. I have it's called shills. I have tons of money, so I just kind of throw it there, and they'll help you out. They also help you out in conversations too, so not just in combat. They're very worth keeping around, and they usually stick around for like 1 or 2 fights, and then they'll be like, all right, peace out, you know, I had a good day, blah blah blah, and you know, that's it. It's very simple, very straightforward, and they act as another body, so in combat they are just ultimately super useful. And not many of them really just, you know, some have different, they all have very unique abilities, which is kind of cool in this game. And They even have all their backstory. Like, holy crap, did I find out a lot about people when I was like, there's other achievements for like making 20 friends or making 20 enemies, and you really learn a lot about these random side characters that are always around. It's pretty neat. They've really did an odd job with creating like their own little universe. I'm sad that they didn't do too much with it. So this is all just kind of building up towards going to kidnap the boss leader that I'm going after. I'm kidnapping like their son, I believe. So you kind of do a little bit more work with Nadan, and you're kind of just, you know, building up some friendship with him until he's like, okay, we're gonna exchange some prisoners around. And like, okay, yeah. And then we're gonna go down to the beach and just capture them, straight up capture them. And again, if you do more missions with people, you'll get more friends along the way, which is always nice. You get more bonuses like passives and shit, which is always good. I know I mentioned the like the boss having a green weapon. I believe this boss also drops one. I tend to, as card rewards, like sometimes you'll just get like just random green weapons that you use, and sometimes they don't cost much, like maybe they're free or something, but they're always worth having. They just add free damage, or you apply wound, which increases the damage they take, and it's just good effects. So I tend to just kind of grab them and use them. Some of them break after like a certain amount of uses, but you know, that's neither here nor there. They're always really worth it. Like that letter opener, it's just a free damaging card. It's really good. So I opted to not do anything for this boss in terms of like, you can get a bunch of backup. Like you can basically either bribe the police there, which I could have done. It's very easy. Like it wouldn't have taken too much extra time. But I decided, you know, let's get going, let's get some speed going, because I think I attempted this like 2 or 3 times because I really wanted that achievement, but I feel like I was going a little too slow at points. Didn't skip things that I wanted to, or I just kind of like was overthinking and playing smarter rather than faster, which again, on a low difficulty and with like all the perks and stuff that I've unlocked throughout the game, I should be able to do this no problem, and I could definitely be a little more optimal too. And again, go for the ultimate and get that fucking bleed going. Yeah, that's so strong. So the boss is bleeding pretty good. He keeps summoning guys. Essentially, like the boss, like it gets to a point where he just keeps summoning dudes, and the longer they're on the field, the stronger they get. More health, more damage. And then you just kind of like say fuck it and just go to town. I should have powered up before the Blade Flurry, but hey, you know, playing fast, you're not gonna make the most optimal moves every time. But yeah, this should finish him. This last turn, and I believe I get the dagger from him too, the shroom dagger. Oh yeah, kidney shot's also really strong. It's a stun in this game is fantastic, and it does decent damage. It's okay. It's nothing crazy, but gotta go through upgrading some cards. And yeah, the Shroom Fang. The Shroom Fang adds wound, which is very strong. It's also free. I think I saw that it was free. Hold on. No, it does cost 1, but it does decent damage and applies the 2 wound and expends. So you don't get to see it again in the combat, but 2 wound making everything deal 2 extra damage is pretty awesome. It's too awesome. Ha. Great one. So this is the last day you really need to do anything. More or less, you just do one of these bounties that they give you, and then you're able to go kidnap this dude that's going to be on the beach, and you can get stopped by a whole bunch of people. I don't like to. If you need to, just fucking bribe them, throw money at them, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just don't talk to me, and you know, hire a merc whenever you can. That's key. I decide to force this guy to fight for me, but you know, that's because I can just kind of, you know, do one turn and just completely and utterly obliterate him. Despite adding a lot of cards, like I know it's generally not great in this game to do that. Well, any card game to just keep adding cards. In this mode, it does feel okay to do so. I am also choosing, like I'm specifically choosing a good chunk of the cards. I don't want to choose anything too weak. So I am picky and choosy, but at the same time I'm picking really good stuff, or at least I feel like it's pretty strong, and it works. It works. This is quite the tough fight if you just kind of straight up go into him, so it's best to just talk him down and kill as many of these little icons as you can, because they will add extra guys to fight. And there was one really annoying dude in this fight where he basically taunts up, so you can only attack him, and gives everyone else armor as well as himself, and it's quite a bit of armor. I think it's up to 10 armor every turn. So basically you can't stop any of these other guys from doing anything, and as long as you get rid of him, the fight is like a breeze. But it's just so annoying to deal with that I just rather convince him to not be there and just just move on, and that's it. But yeah, we're pretty much in the home stretch now. There, at the start of tomorrow, there's just a simple thing, like you just go to this event and that's kind of it. Like you do one fight maybe, and you're good to go. But yeah, just keep laying into these guys. Pretty standard stuff. But yeah, you know, if anyone is, you know, still watching here, you know, thanks for supporting. You know, I really appreciate it. I know this is a long video. You don't really have to watch it all. I skim through the nice parts. You can skim all the way to the end there and see my time. It's not great. I will tell you that. It's not great. But it does make me want to try this and actually, you know, get a good solid attempt in. And I killed that guy for good measure. That was kind of funny. I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, I don't care. That guy made me work for it a little too much, so I just wanted him dead. And nothing bad came of it, so that's good. But yeah, my after doing this and seeing it again, I really want to at least do better than one person on that speed record board. I don't care what it's worth. I did do another speed run, but I did lose the footage of it. I don't know if anyone cares or knows about it, but the game is Titan Souls. It's I guess it's kind of like, yeah, Shadow of Colossus in a way, except it's like, and it's more of like an indie game, and you're just a kid with a bow and one arrow, and you use that to kill bosses that tend to die in like one shot. You just, you know, you have to know their weaknesses kind of deal. And that game also had a speedrun achievement, and it's very, very tight. You have to beat the game within 20 minutes, and from what I've seen on the records, I think most runs were about 13, 14 as like the really high end, and I had my record around 19 minutes, which is pretty good. Like it's I think I was in the top 100 from what I've done, and I even messed up the run a little bit. So you can't mess up that run very much, though, that's for sure. Like you get a couple deaths and it's like, well, you're probably not getting that 20-minute mark. But I definitely want to try that one again too, so I plan to practice a little bit here and there with my free time. And yeah, should be good stuff. I'm by no means a speedrunner, but I kind of wanted to show that I can do it if I really want to. It won't be like something like I did with my Ghost Runner 2 review, where I just kind of like really disliked it very fast, just like how the game was very fast. Like I don't know. I couldn't get my fun out of it, you know? Like I want to play a new game and I want it to be fun. But at the same time, I really could not commit to Ghost Runner. Like I thought I was a badass, and then I just died to one hit to everything. Like a guy has a tickle blaster and I dead if I get hit by it. Like it's whatever. I'm just kind of rambling now. Anyways, we kidnapped that dude and we're gonna take him to his mom. Or yeah, I think it's his mom. We're gonna show this kidnapped guy to his mom. She's also got a snail friend, by the way. That's kind of cool. Yeah, they use like giant monstrous snails as like wars of like, yeah. It's pretty cool. The snail looks pretty fucking cool. But yeah, so I get a really strong start where I use my ultimate, and instead I use the stun ability on it, which really shuts her down. And I also draw my kidney shot, which double stun is just destructive. The snail has a cool ability where it just reduces a lot of damage, but it will never die. It will recede into its shell and be immune to damage for like one turn, and then it kind of gets back into the fight. But you can kill it towards the end of the fight if you want, and I'm pretty sure I do because, you know, screw snails. So yes, all this recording, I'm not gonna double check anything too much. I'm just kind of talking here. I got some plans this weekend, so this is what it's gonna do. It's gonna be very raw. Just that's gonna be it, and I apologize in advance. I'm still doing my 100-day challenge. It's almost over, so I'm gonna put a lot more effort into some videos instead of, you know, every single day needing to put out a video, which is a little exhausting. I will tell you that right now. But anyways, yeah, I decided to kill her. You get her a cool disc for doing it, which is like a big AoE hit and bleeds. And then I let him go. I should have just killed him because he is giving me a negative bonus right now, but hey, 300 chills, that's whatever. So that is pretty much it. You go back to base, you sleep one off. Of course, somebody had to talk to me as well, but I'm just gonna pay him off with the shields I just made because I don't really care to do anything about this. Yeah, go back, end the day, and then you kind of get right into the last boss very, very quickly. I honestly was so strong, like, my health was always at pretty much peak this entire time. Like, I think I lost like 5 health early on in my first day where I rescued the dog. I think I lost like 3 health between the last 2 days. So it really was kind of weird. I definitely could have done a lot of things better. So yeah. I also probably did not need to do this fight, but I didn't really want to abandon my pal. You know, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not sure if it affects the card you get because you can get a card for Nidaean coming to help you out for free. This is where I choose a really sweet sword that applies a lot of bleed when hit. You get to choose one of these boxes to just freely loot, and this one is a very strong one. The final boss is kind of interesting because I feel like you either just completely dunk on her or just slowly, like, maybe get her like 5 turns later, so like maybe you can beat her in like the first turn or 2, or you just get slammed and it takes like you're on turn 7, turn 8, or you even might die. But I know for a fact my strat here is just like I'm just destroying her. Like, she's attacking me a lot, but I'm using my stun ability, so she loses a ton of damage here. I can also shield up, just keep on doing some damage. Nothing else needs to be done, and I just fucking crush her. That's all I do. Nidaean comes out, just sucker punches her. Like, it's just over. Turn 3, done. And I kill her for good measure and her robot because that's the kind of guy I am. Of a time of, I think it was 26:43. Yeah, not bad, not great. It's enough to get the achievement, which I was happy about. I'm gonna maybe make some attempts at this, shave that down to about 14, maybe 15, maybe 16 tops. But anyways, that is my speedrun. So thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a great weekend. Pachow.